Good morning. Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. It is a very, very, very blessed day once again to be back online. Truth Disclosure 369. For all those who may come across this video, um, greet you in the universal words of peace. It's been like 3 or 4 weeks since I've been on here. I did that on purpose, to literally just sit back and watch everything. I've been soaking up so much stuff, and it's good. It's all good. So I just like to say, those who come on here and stop by, thank you for stopping by, hearing my rants or the little things that I put out. Like I've said in videos before, just put it out. Lending my voice to the many voices that know that this crap that we're dealing with is totally fake, an illusion. People are being used against one another by systems and forces that really do not have the best interests of the totality on this planet at heart. Oh, and before I go on, I got my man back there, my cat. Can't say my dog. I got my cat back there. Midnight the battle cat getting his rest on in the back. I just wanted to get on here today. It's been so long as I've been on here just to just kind of go. It's ridiculous, man. It's kind of everything that a person spoke on over the last uh, couple of years. It seems like everything is literally revealing itself. The more and more people are moving forward, as the year goes on, as the days and weeks go on, you 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 will see more craziness that's more crazier than the previous month, year, or whatever. I mean, it's obvious, man, and it's with me personally. The experiences I've been experiencing is totally seeing so many people that at one time or another having conversations about a lot of the current events and those things that are actually happening right now and present. The many people who are now concerned and have an urgent uh, uh, feeling about most of the things that are impacting them currently, not from years ago, not from 2 weeks ago, not from a year ago, not from 2 years ago, not, but exactly right now. And many of the people that I talk to, I may have talked to them like on certain subjects over the years, but I have to say it because I've never seen so many people all of a sudden now they just like, yeah, something ain't right. I'm worried. I'm concerned. I'm a little more concerned than I was a year ago or 2 years ago. And that's a good thing. I love it because the more people begin to kind of shimmy away from the narrative and begin to open up their own mind for independent thought that's in line and in tune to a person's own intuition, you begin to understand that, look, I got to ask questions. That's part of living, man. If you're not able to question nothing, because you feel it, the vibe is there that something is off, and you ain't able to question it, then how can you literally accept society for what it is and back it up and stand for it when you literally being denied basic principles of being in a society, and that's being free, being able to question, being all that stuff. So it's a wonderful thing to see so many people starting to look at all these narratives crashing, burning, the way these people are playing with the educational system, the economical system, which is causing havoc on children and on the population in itself with um, the basic things, the basic needs people need now. You know, you're paying more for than you were years ago. And this is something that's been ongoing. It ain't like this stuff just started, man. This has just been an extremely uh, something that has been taken to the extreme, but it's all been going on over the years, man. This capitalistic system and all this stuff, how it's being used really to promote this democracy type of deal, which a lot of people who scream that shit don't even know what the hell they talking about. And it's sad because it gives people false hope instead of giving people the nudging that is needed to do their own research and a lot of stuff. And with that, everybody trying to point out the fact we in a free country, we in a democracy and all that, which is a bogus ass statement to make. When you're looking at so much authoritarianism, tyrannical stuff happening right before your eyes, whether you want to believe it or not, or accept that you are actually up under these doctrines, hey, that's to each their own. But everybody don't think that way. Everybody see what a lot of people are seeing what's happening. They're seeing their way of life coming harder to maintain, or you have to put in more and more and more and more hard work, more sacrifice into this thing, and you're not getting back uh, the the same in response. In fact, you're putting in most of your energy, you're putting in most of your time, and a lot of people doing this. They at work, whatever they're doing, all of this stuff, and what do they get in return? They get a bunch of the confusion and deception, lies and hypocrisy, uh, promises that are only geared toward biased agendas that are fit for one group and malign, discredit, or demonize another group, and then wonder why there's so much division and so much disunification around here, especially in the economical state that this country is in, the cultural state that this country is in. It's sad. It's sad, but it's also a good thing to see people are seeing it for what it is. Me personally, being of the Black community, uh, and it's been kind of hard to really how can I say it? Because it's always uh you have to speak, you have to say certain things, certain ways that really uh are not you don't really want to come down on people. Because I'm telling you, I got love for everybody. I want the best for everybody. I want peace for everybody. I want freedom for everybody. And I want people to understand that's from me. That's from my heart. I want people to understand that a lot of this stuff we've been living through has been something that entirely has been wrong and off key the whole time. Even when I was a child, I look at it like that. A lot of stuff that we're dealing with, we haven't been given the whole picture on a lot of stuff. We haven't been given the whole story about a lot of things. We haven't been given all the information needed about certain things. So it's automatically like everything was rigged from the get go. And now a lot of the rigging, the things that have been rigged from the get go, they are now coming to the light and being proven to be unsustainable if we keep going these on the same direction that is constantly keeping people in a state of struggle, constantly keeping people in a state of entitlement in which they can gain off the backs of others. I mean, this it'll always be a lopsided system, and now all of this crap is coming up. People seeing it for what it is. It's a blessing in disguise. I love it, and this is what it's supposed to do. This is the whole thing about revelation, awakening in the spiritual aspects, uh, beginning to use wisdom and see and commune with your own godliness and intuitive thinking, which is God within, and you begin to put piece stuff together, of course, along with opening having an open mind. So many have shut their mind off, but now over the last couple couple of months, I've been seeing a lot of people, and in the Black community, it's always a blessing to see that many Black people are beginning to understand that the culture that we have been representing, we have been tasked with self-inflicted, the culture that we have accepted and we use it, it's automatically looked at as Black culture all around, no matter how much. That includes rap, all this stuff, dress, how a person dressed, the hip hop, all this other stuff. When people look at that all over, they see Black culture. And we got to understand that Black culture helped produce a lot of this crap that is caused all these this unnecessary uh, violence and negativity amongst the community, which a lot of people don't want to talk about because they attribute it away to something else instead of looking at it from the standpoint as in the community. What the hell have we been doing, and what the hell have gone wrong in the Black community outside of supposed oppression from white supremacy that we are doing? Because in the state that we are in, or the state that the, a lot of communities across the country, Black communities, it seemed like they just stuck and stagnated in one way of thinking, and this way of thinking has brought no progression, no progression so far. And a lot of Black people are seeing that now. They're seeing how they're being played in politics. They're seeing how they're being used. They're seeing how they're being liars and hypocrites, demonic folks, evil people who are out here wickedly doing things, not just against Black folks, but against their white people, against uh, people of other racial groups, people of political groups, Republicans and Democrats working together against the same people who they supposed to represent through their extreme views, wasteful spending when it comes to supposedly uh, the, the, the governance and the want to empower the people with financial stability. How can that be? It's not happening. Everything's going backward. Hell, the system is falling apart. The financial system is eroding, but yet people still sit here. But not to get off track, it's good to see Blacks in the Black community understanding that it's more to this crap than just sitting up here wanting a handout. Which, when people talk about stuff like that, they always want to assert things and judge and talk shit about those that's calling this stuff out. But in reality, it's real. You know it. You can't get away from that. So many people dying in our communities and Black communities all across, and you got fake folks acting like they really concerned about Black freedom and Black empowerment and all this crap, but they silent on issues that really impact the community. Silent here in Detroit about shit that is going on within the cities of ignorant, undisciplined, uncivilized people. And since I'm gonna say that it's the Black community, it don't matter what community you're in. The discipline and uncivilized rhetoric and characteristics of certain people are destroying the communities, whether they are in political positions or whether they are just regular people out here. And a lot of people may say that's further than the truth, but man, living here and I see it every day. It hurts. Many other black folks see it, um, and it's folks are getting tired of it. Stop using this black thing as a means to try and justify stuff that you know is not fucking correct or right, and it's just as wrong as white supremacy or any other thing that is used against people. Period. To uplift another person, it's fucking not right. Black folks are sick and tired of being able to literally living in their communities hostages, scared to do this, fearful of doing that. And you literally can walk out your own community and go to another community and feel safer. But then you gotta hear the shit coming from your own community talking about why people don't want to do nothing here and all this. They don't want to spend money and all that. And then but don't have nothing to say about the craziness that's happening, about the unchecked shit that goes on within the black community that seems to be legitimized by those that are stuck in ignorance or stuck in some frivolous way of thinking that's leading a person not toward progression, but it's regressing people, it's dumbing people down, it's setting people back years and years and years and years from achievements that were made prior. How do you explain that? How do you explain black politicians continuing to do stuff, continuing to co-sign and cheerlead for things that continue to uproot um, and make things a little difficult, more difficult each time for the black community. All this stuff that is going on in Chicago and in these major cities where you see all this crap happening, nobody wants to call it out. Like in Chicago, all the crap that's been going on with from the kids cutting up uh, downtown, jumping on people's cars. It's like, what's up? Why don't black people, when it is involved with black people, the so-called black leaders, the ones who literally step their ass out into the circle, into the limelight, when something horrific happens, when it's always something biased, when it's based between white and black, why when something that is going down, and a lot of people ask the same question, why when if you really care about black lives, you really care about black freedom and equality and all this stuff, why the hell are y'all so silent? Why do y'all stay um, closed mouthed and mute on stuff that's really affecting the community that needs to be addressed when it comes to personal accountability and responsibility? That includes parents and their children. Come from a generation where our parents didn't play that shit. And that's just real talk. But now you in a manipulated world where they don't nudged laws in and did this to try and justify, try and recruit children to be disrespectful and all this stuff. And if you try and discipline, oh, you child abuse. And have it, and the sad thing about it, this was stuff that was done during times where people were being raised by a village type of mentality. I know I was, and people in my age group who were younger at the time, similar circumstances, but over the years, all of that changed to a point where you got uh, parents that barely want to even chastise a child because it's so many leeways children could go through to try and blame their parents for trying. And that's sad. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. But yet, the systems, these ignorant ass people that are in these positions have kept this stuff going since I was a child to move this shit away from personal responsibility and accountability in the communities, all communities really. But in the black community, I'm speaking of the black community because see the damage that has been done. And it's like everybody trying to grasp for straws from the stuff we've been taught. And it's like all of it is lacking. It's lacking. Black people are waking up to how it makes no sense that you sit up here and listen to these folks all these fake ass. Now I'm speaking from me personally. All these fake black leaders that sit up here and want to clown, you know, uh, go into politics and clown the Republicans and clown this. What the fuck are Democrats doing? And I'm saying this not to be um in support of Republican doctrine because I've said this before. Both sides are nothing. They're liars. They're full of propaganda. They're full of agendas. They're full of things that are not meant for uh, our evolution. It's only meant for the fattening of their pocketbooks and to keep this back and forth. Uh, they did it, you did it, they did it, you did it, Democrats did it, Republicans did it. Keep that narrative going, so nobody had never own up to how fucked up they led this country into some bullshit over years, accelerated during the last couple of years with this pandemic. That, of course, is also big question marks all around the murder of millions of people, including my parents, and I'll never step down off of that. Um, People are seeing it for what it is, and that's a good thing. That's a blessing. People are tired of it. People are tired of looking at these corrupt politicians sit up here and make all these bogus promises, lying, creating spectacles for no reason, concentrating on shit that makes no goddamn difference right now. You know, this whole thing with Trump, all this stuff. Trump, people can say what they want about him, but yet the shit that they're doing is wrong. They know it. The stuff that they're doing to come after Trump is wrong. Trump ain't no damn saint. He's not no fucking angel himself. But the shit that they're doing is wrong. Why they're doing that and why they're going to so much extremes is obvious. I mean, people see it for what it is. The shit that happened on CNN. Like, damn. Y'all don't even want a person to answer the questions. Y'all want to keep people stuck in the past on shit that y'all have still never found any truth in. But Trump is still a vessel that's being used to call these corrupt shit out. It never would have happened until Trump got in, no matter how a person like it or not. If Trump had never been in here, people would still been poised, blind to everything that this corrupt ass government been doing. I look at it like this: all these folks were really throwing each other under the bus. They're really exposing each other. Even Elon Musk, they're exposing each other for the shit that they're doing. It looked like they're all competing to try and gain the power and the influence over the people so they could do whatever they want, their agendas or whatever. No matter how much they're talking, maybe they're talking against, freedoms, or maybe they're talking, pointing out the fact that your freedoms are being damaged, but it still don't stop the agenda that they may have. As long as it get the people, then we'll do shit once we get in office or whatever. And it's totally takes you away from the original statement of hope that we're trying to get everybody. But not to take it off subject, Trump is being used as a medium to continue to call out this raggedy ass shit that these folks been doing the whole time. Trump should know he's from that same elite group. All these other elites know they know this shit. But the shit that they keep on talking about, instead of talking about the things that are affecting society, like how crime is becoming an issue, how the borders are an issue, or how they're completely um, disrespecting the citizens of this country by allowing people to come through, throwing all type of incentives at them. Just and then basically how people are breaking it down and how it looks. It looks like they literally have the borders open, so because people are waking up to the nonsense that they are doing, and they know they're going to lose votes for the next cycle. So what better way to replace those votes of those that probably going to say, I'm not voting for none of these corrupt ass parties no more. Fuck them. Or I may vote for Republican because I'm a Democrat and I see how much this shit is bullshit on how much the Democrats have fucked us over. I'm going to try Republican. And because of that, we're going to go ahead and keep the borders open. We're going to give all these newcomers all this stuff that should have been handed out to everybody in this country, veterans, citizens, everybody that's from here that's struggling, that's seeing they can't get no help from their own government, their own their own institutions that are literally jumping, that are bending over backwards, jumping up through hoops, and doing everything else to provide for this situation that they have continued to cause at the border. Uh, so you can see incidents. I was seeing something the other day. You see incidents about them kicking people out of hotel rooms or closing down hotels just to have immigrants in, or giving immigrants uh, all the utensils needed to begin their life here. When you have people here struggling straight out of high school, could barely move it, could barely move forward. And people see it, man. It's like, damn. So it's like they have to replace those people who finally just like, fuck that. I'm not doing it. And it's unfortunate because all of these immigrants are pawns in these folks' Ponzi scheme. Um, I pray that they will also be uh, uh, blessed to overcome and awaken to what's happening to them, man. It's fucked up. It's sad how that shit is happening. So it's always a blessing to see people waking up to that. Even at this moment in time, that more people are paying attention to a lot of the cosmic events, from solar storms to celestial events that happen. There's been a lot of solar activity, and a lot of this stuff uh, has has made an effect, had an effect on Earth and the people. More people are awakening to that and studying it. More people are studying things and looking into things that literally have been kept under wraps or kind of silent and just kind of always shifted off to those supposed fields. If you're a historian or if you're an astrobiologist or whatever, then you're suspected to look at this. Now regular people are starting to look at this. They start to understand that some stuff, that basic stuff that we probably was taught when we was in school on up, to whatever degrees of education a person have gone through, whether elementary, middle, high, on the secondary education, to college, or whatever. You finding out things that really have not been explained, have not been uh, told properly, all type of stuff, man. It's crazy, and people are starting to see it, even with the older architecture that's around. And I brought that up last time. You starting to see how a lot of this old architecture, especially architecture from the 1800s and stuff, it doesn't make sense how this stuff was built, how it was designed, the creativeness of it, and then now you could barely get off a decent replica of it. It makes no sense, and people are exploring this, all of these things. They're seeing it, and I love it. I thank God for it every day because it's showing that people are really tired of this nonsense that has been going on. It's I mean, it's no way around it. Every person across this country, including this planet, have been lied to in some way, shape, or form by those that claim their governance or their supposed leaders. And a lot of the lies are to keep people in the state of mind that they are in. And that includes the Black community, the culture that continues to permeate in Black culture, which is partly a victimization culture, a death culture, and a uh, selfish culture at that. And a lot of people suffer from that. But then I could call out in the community because I know I'm guilty of it myself. And as a work in progress over the years, you see it. So, you know, it's a good thing to see people coming out. And so now we're dealing with all this. You're dealing with the food, everything dealing with food or food processing. That's an issue that's happening. You're dealing with prices going up, banks closing, people seeing it for what it is. What is y'all really doing? And then the sad thing about it, the banks and everything, all of this stuff could be pretty much category be put in a category and studied, because it takes you into the research of the Federal Reserve. It takes you into the whole formulation of the economy of this country. And throughout history, there have been times in which certain things have been going on with this government, and the implementation of central banking systems, which that's what we're dealing with. Everybody across this planet are dealing with majority of central banking systems, private owned monopolies that are utilizing currency uh, uh, in those regions. In this country, it's the Federal Reserve. All of it is using has claimed power over the financial stability of the country, and at the same time helping to cause all of this financial distress. And it has been doing that the whole time, with the implementation of printing massive sums of money out of nowhere with nothing to back it up. Only thing that the United States has to back it up is their good word and the petrodollar, which is also in danger, which was linked to Saudi Arabia and oil, which they've already said we ain't the hell with y'all. And it's almost like everybody's cutting ties with America, or coming after America and starting to not do it. Ain't because they I hear people that say they're doing this on purpose. They're trying to destroy America or whatever. Look at the shit America done. I mean, you gotta look at how much karma may play into something. As much as a motherfucker may not like these countries or whatever, which I don't. The countries themselves, all those governments are still corrupt. No matter how much they're still not doing everything in their power to address the needs of their people. They're too busy trying to address the needs of their elites, those people in behind the scenes in those areas, just like they're doing here. But a lot of the stuff that's happening in the economy, look at how much shit the United States has caused in other countries, caused people to go poor and broke and all this other stuff in their own. And now the same stuff is happening in return, coming back here. And folks got to understand, man, it ain't happening because a motherfucker been a plus student. Come on, man, folks. Shit been going on in our name, supposedly our name, for years. Folks been sitting here numb to it, ain't been speaking up on it, and a lot of that stuff is literally coming back on motherfuckers. These banks and all this shit, the Federal Reserve and all this stuff, they are literally corrupt institutions. The whole basics of how this shit came into being, the Federal Reserve, central banking system, is corrupt. And they don't care. They do not care about people's financial security. They never cared. They just want to give people that illusion, like, oh, if you make it this, if you able to make it like this is what you should be striving for. You got some people who literally live their whole life, they never can break that mold. And it may not be of things that they literally could control, man. It's because it's stuff they literally could not control, and they could not get a foothold. No matter how much people want to judge others and say, oh, well, they didn't work hard enough, or they didn't get enough education or whatever. Hell, that shit, you could be all of that right now and still going through something. You still getting touched. You still are being affected by the madness that's happening. So it's good to see people seeing it for what it is. This system has to be reinvented, period, for everybody to benefit from, not certain people using other people to get a step above. That's not how people may think that's how it's supposed to work. But in a righteous godliness, a world of godliness, that's not how it works. The creator wants peace and prosperity for everybody. Nobody has the right to sit up and interpret who deserves and who that shit been going on for years. Wait, in different civilizations, and it always came to a knot because people ended up getting tired. They got uprisings, wars came, all this shit. People gotta understand history repeats itself, just like any other civilization, any other place of civilization in the past that garnered a lot of superpower type accolades and labels and titles and shit. There eventually came a time in which the people within these civilizations in these states or nation states or republics or whatever, they got fed up with certain shit that was happening, and that control system ended up falling with a collapse, or whether it was uh, violently done, whether it was done through the implementation of warring factions coming in and taking, however it was done, it happened. And Rome and all these other old places that failed, even when they look at, even if you want to look into supposed mythical places like Atlantis, you know, these places were places that were highly influential, uh, versed in knowledge, technology, all this stuff, supposedly. But yet still, that wasn't enough to keep that empire or that civilization from falling due to infighting, due to negative shit that was brought in, due to warring, due to those that want to inflict their will on others, and then act like none of that stuff gonna come back to bite them in the ass or to affect the whole. Oh man, so it's a blessing to see it for what it is. And before I get off of here, I just want to get on here and just share some things. I mean, this whole thing about with the children is so disgusting and unbelievable that there is no way. I continue to say that. That is sad, man. I feel like children are being denied the right to be a child, to live as a to live as a child. I remember living as a child in the early '80s, you know, coming up, being raised up in the early '80s, you know, on into the '90s, you know, in middle school or high school, and man, and I'm pretty sure like um, parents and grandparents they could speak of things that happened when they was a child, but they were able to live. Some of them were able to live as children, were able to experience a childhood. And you know, it's so sad that now they're trying to influence a lot of the children with adult topics, subject matter, all this stuff that children should be discussing, shouldn't be talked about, shouldn't even be registered right now. They should be more focused on living, being a child, living free, having those child relationships with other children, you know, running out here playing tag, jump rope, all this stuff, all that stuff, man. But no, children are literally being sick, literally being targeted not only by the healthcare um the or the pharmaceutical industries, this institution of death, which they call health, which is not about health, not about healing. It's only about um stagnating whatever is going on with the person, and pay that money to get treatments for something that may or may not um, help you down the road. And it's unfortunate. But children targeted by that vaccine crap, even when with all the stuff that has been experienced, all the stuff that's out here, all the stuff that people know themselves personally to experience is happening, but yet you still have a system that continue to want to push that on children, not as well as this homosexual, transsexual ideology, which is why you don't want to put, you don't even want to push, uh, you don't even want to push heterosexual ideologies on children at certain ages, because this is not what they're supposed to be learning right now. They're supposed to be learning the basic stuff. And it's it's unbelievable how they're literally sitting up here trying to justify having people who have fetishes for children, people who may be using transgender shit as a means to get close to kids because they have issues, they have a sickness, and they're literally okaying this shit. You literally have people sitting up here justifying it, saying if you don't do this, then you're literally stepping on the rights of those who literally want to go in here and play with kids. Ain't no telling what kind of stuff going on in these. And people are literally okay with that. People literally from the pulpits, from religious standpoints, are okay with it. And you can't sit here and say that, well, hell no. Ain't no way in hell that I can respect anybody that's with that. If you want to do that stuff, if you're with it, or you cool, that's, hey, more power to you. If you're with that stuff, if you're with that type of stuff, cool. Why do you have to why is it has to be that the children have to be thrown in that stuff? It's no different than with the sports. Why are y'all throwing, if that's what y'all want to do, cool. Make a league for that stuff. Make a league for transgenders. So that those that like that stuff or whatever, they can be, but why are y'all trying to put it together when y'all know it's gonna cause backlash? Y'all know it's gonna cause inequality. It's going to be an unfair advantage, which is obvious in the first damn place. Why would you have a man dressed as a woman entering that woman sports when you know there's going to be an unfair advantage? I mean, it's obvious. It's common fucking sense. But it's sad the way that they've taken some arguments dealing with rights for people, and they're literally taking it to the extreme. And now, you know, hell, it's even dangerous to be an actual woman. If you are a born woman, you are in danger, because now you have all this other stuff to compete with. And the sad thing about it, a lot of women in the feminist movement, they kind of pushed men to the back because men are dogs, men are this and that. And now you need men help. And of course, men gonna help, because that's not right what the fuck is going on. Stop doing that shit. Stop infecting the children with this nonsense that they don't really need, man. It's like, and then they wonder why a lot of children is can't think, because look at what they've been doing. They literally been molding children. They literally are grooming them for this crap. When I was a child, I never remember talking about nothing dealing with homosexuality or none of that shit, let alone sex in school at those younger ages. Hell, that if that even was brought up, parents wasn't even trying to talk about that to their own children. My parents didn't talk about that to a certain age, you know, when it was appropriate, because that wasn't your focus. But it's crazy, man. These folks never feel like they're doing anything that is wrong or going to have consequences down the line. And that is a danger to society as a whole across this country. And everybody's dealing with facts, similar circumstances in these other countries. The point is, and I'm going to get ready to close down, it is a blessing to see people begin to think for themselves and begin to branch out from the media and all this garbage that they're putting out here. All the media sources have been proven to be full of shit. No way by that. I mean, you can go by the biased way. Of course, you're gonna have the liberal leaning joints, and you're also gonna have the conservative leading joints. But at the end of the day, they're all pushing agendas and bullshit. They're all speaking, have selective hearing, and have selective outrage on certain things, but then they're quiet and mum on other shit because they're actually working together. Exactly. That's why I say these Republicans and Democrats, they can sit up and tote the line like they after each other all day long. When it comes down to it, they support war, they support continued medical tyranny, over people. They continue to support this shit. Because if they really didn't, if some of them really didn't, they really made a difference on the effect in which a lot of this shit could be pushed out here and dealt with in a manner, not hidden, not pushed to the side and not talked about, or not manipulated to try and come with these fake factors and figures and stats and have these same old actors in the news sitting up in front of the camera telling you how shit is, and they sitting up here literally when they get hit with a question that's dealing with reality, they don't know how to explain it. Just like for example, when the Trump town hall a couple of days back, when the CNN commentator tried to ask the Republican group that was there, that was actually at the town hall there, when they tried to say, when he tried to ask the man, the guy about Trump and 2020 and all this other stuff, and don't you think Trump should stop talking about the lies, the false misinformation about the election, and don't you think he should be talking about stuff that's relevant for right now? And the first thing the man said was like, that's what y'all asked him. Y'all the ones led off the conversation. So you see how ignorant a lot of this shit is. And they playing with people's intelligence. All these folks right here talking about how smart they are or how blessed they are in doing certain things, but at the same time, your intelligence is being played with by people right up under your nose, by this whole shit that's going on around you. It's unfortunate, but it's something that has to be acknowledged, man. See it for what it is. And like I said, it's a good thing that these media companies are being called out. People who are doing what is right and impactful, not only for themselves but for others, because these are people who constantly get brought up in the limelight and attacked by, it seemed like, the same narrative that's going on. That narrative that's against Trump, narrative against Musk, narrative against this person, narratives against that person. And I'm not saying all these folks are genuine in what they're doing. I'm just saying this is the same narrative, that if you speak on certain things in society, which they don't want everybody talking about, they really want people to sit here and act like ain't nothing going on. If you could do that, you're a good one. You're a good actor, because because there's no way most of the people from experience in my neck of the woods are dealing with a lot. So I just wanted to get on here, let my face be known, and just talk about some of the stuff that's happening, man, and how these folks are literally, they're not worthy of none of this respect that people are giving them. They're not worthy of any to me, man, there's nothing none of these folks could say that they could give me any boost me up or hype me up or anything. Everything these folks say is complete rhetoric, jargon, malarkey, propaganda. Everything has been used propaganda, including the deaths of people in the Black community, the deaths that happen with police or whatever, or with just like this stuff that just happened with my man on the subway, and how that right there used to gaslight so many people, and how people only look at certain situations of that, but they don't want to talk about other stuff. They don't want to talk about, okay, well, let's talk about the history or what this person may have done, or what may have led up to this. Okay, and even if this did happen the way it did, and this was a crime, a racial crime, and this person choked this man out, because what about all the black they're just walking around just like the other day in Detroit, motherfuckers in a damn store, gas station, shooting up the place, shot 3 people, killed one of them over an argument between $3 or $4 with the clerk who got a unlicensed gas station. But life was so not important at that moment. You can just shoot randomly, threaten to kill these folks. This guy locked them in the gas station while this guy arguing, and he ended up shooting everybody in there, killed one of them. You know, it's ridiculous, man. Guy kidnapped his ex-girlfriend, shot her to death, left her in the trunk, kidnapped her from her own place of work. We have to understand this shit that's happening in our community, shit that we're doing that we don't want to speak on, unless it's attached to a white person being the aggressor. Then you get all off and on. We gotta understand that shit. It's time. That shit is old, man. That shit is done. I feel just as uncomfortable in my own neighborhood as I am around motherfuckers who supposedly are racist. So what's the difference? What's the difference between you walking out of your neighborhood and you can't even go, you kind of uncomfortable with going certain areas because you don't want to be in no drama or get caught up, and then you going somewhere else and you know it's a majority of the opposite, but yet you taking your chances whether you're gonna be called a racial name or thought of as some racial, and yet some people feel better in those situations. People can sit up and lie all they want to, but the reality of it is, you know that's true. You go somewhere else, you feel more comfortable. And you in your own neck of the woods, you can't even feel like that. You gotta look over your shoulders. You gotta worry about motherfucker gonna break in my damn house. Motherfucker gonna break in my fucking car. Is a motherfucker gonna rob me while I'm standing at the bus stop trying to go to work? It's sad, man. You got to be able to call that shit out. And I'm just gonna be real. I ain't got no respect for no black folks that continue to push that shit, because that's not being a human being. That's not representing humanity. That's not um bringing it back so that everybody can move forward, man. That's not that all that shit is doing is feeding into this negative divide and conquer thing. And it's not just about divide and conquer. Oh, we got to stick together as black people. It's humanity as a whole, you know. So those, black people, they want to continue to keep their head in the sand like an ostrich or whatever. Hey, it's all good. Just don't think that everybody ride with that shit. Don't just because motherfuckers color or they skin maybe a minority or a black person or whatever. Don't think that everybody ride with that shit just because you talking about black this, black that. No different than everybody talking about riding with America, because as soon as motherfuckers say America and patriotic shit, you supposed to ride with everything they do. And half the shit they're doing is wicked and then impacting other people in negative ways across the planet. And it's being done in your name. You voted, you stand on this shit. So the stuff that come back behind the karmic reactions and everything that come behind that, you gotta understand that's where that comes from. So with that, I just want to get on here and just uh, drop a couple of Jews, or get my little opinion out there for what's been happening. Been a minute since I've been on here. But I pray that everybody will begin to continue to see it for what it is. I didn't even go on the articles and none of that stuff. Tired of it. All of this nonsense. People's energies are being siphoned away onto negative bullshit. More energy need to be put toward seeing this world move past all this garbage shit that kept everybody down. And has to move away from that. Has to move into a productive world in which everybody can live in harmony, and everybody can live without being oppressed by these bogus ass financial institutions all across the planet. Shit that got people living in poverty, shit that got people living like gods over other people because they feel like they put in this or that, but they put it in, but they're been doing it corrupted. been corrupt, been corrupt. No, not the chair. This it's two bags. That one is one up under. Thank you. Yes, sir. Sorry about that. Yeah, man. I just had to donated some clothes to the Vietnam Veterans Association. Um, my dad passed away back in 2020. Well, I don't even like saying that because I know that my dad was murdered in these hospitals during the COVID. I don't care what anybody has to say about far as I care, but at the same time, I'm gonna look at it the way I see it. My folks were murdered in these hospitals. I feel the same way about other people, too, other people, because I was in the hospitals when I seen a lot. But my dad, mom were murdered under those ventilators and all that stuff in these hospitals during the culling of human beings 2020. But my dad was a Vietnam veteran, and I put some clothes out. I always hit the Vietnam veterans because I feel like vets have done a lot, and I'm gonna close out behind this. But it brought since this just happened, it make me think about it. Like I think about the wars and everything that has been fought, and what were the real objectives of things. Only thing you're told is certain shit. Like with World War II, all Hitler and Japan. But you never go. They never want to go into the complete details of what could have been avoided, how were things done, were certain stuff being done to invoke and promote certain stuff. Um, but Vietnam was a war in which, or conflict in which I've had, people that's still here now that was a part of it. My dad was a part of it, so I decided to give a lot of his clothes to that. And I feel bad for a lot of those veterans who have been completely forgotten about, who literally, whether they believed it or not, they felt they was doing something for their country, for a cause and all this other stuff. And they had completely forgotten about the country, treat them like shit. Country literally looks out for other go outside of the borders of this country and looks out for other entities and other lands than their own people who literally fought and died and bled and were maimed, some psychologically messed up. And this is the shit that they get, you know. People who literally were doing certain things and they felt like they may have had no understanding of what they were doing. They just felt like this is what I got to do, man. My dad did it. My granddad did it. We was in the military. We got to do this. This country needed. We fight for democracy, even though democracy has been used as a tool, as a token word to make it seem like everything that's happening is just, and it's fucking not. So yeah, and before I sign off, for those that buy into that crap. This is something I had to look into. This whole this is a democracy. We're in democracy and all this other stuff. The reality of it is, this country is not a democracy. This country is a constitutional republic. And if you get the opportunity to look into that, this is verified all throughout the internet, everywhere. This is a constitutional republic. So the point that they keep making when they throw out this shit about this is a democracy, we can't have our democracy in danger of this and that. They're literally speaking deception there, because this is not what this is. This whole government is based on a constitutional republic. That other stuff don't know what they're talking about, and it's obviously makes sense because you're making shit up as you go, and that's what they've been doing, literally. So with that, I just like to thank those who may come by and catch a view on this. Um, Pray that everything continue to be uh, safe and sound in person's neck of the woods. and that people continue to see things how they see it, and that God continue to give many people the wisdom that is needed to have discernment and navigate through these times. And I'm just thankful to be here today. God allowing me to sit here and just do another video. And got my man in the back, Midnight the Battle Cat. He's been back there the whole time. But I thank everybody who came by, and blessings, peace to all. And I greet you in the universal greetings of peace. Catch you on the next time.